Everyday lives, everyday values. A thoughtful and in-depth look at the issues and interests that are unique to Utah. Special discussions of history and LDS heritage, and an enriching exchange of ideas about local culture. Their Everyday Lives, Everyday Values on KSL News Radio 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
And welcome to the program on this Sunday morning. It's great to have you along here at KSL News Radio. I love history, so I've been looking forward to this conversation on Utah History Day and even National History Day. And we have very special guests here in studio. First of all, and Wendy, I hope I've got the title correctly. Are you the director of this particular day?
I'm the state coordinator for the Utah History Day program.
There we go. We got that official, and it's Wendy Rex Atzet. Wendy, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about this very special program and what has transpired, especially for, we're going to introduce everybody in a moment, to Marin Burgess and Luke Hansen. So tell us what this opportunity for these great kids indeed entailed and how they got there.
Well, Utah History Day is a program that teachers can use in schools to make history fun, exciting, engaging, interesting. It's open to kids from 4th grade up in Utah. And we have about 5,600 children who currently participate every year from all over the state. What they'll do is begin the year by choosing a topic that's really interesting to them, and then they do a lot of real historical research. They find primary sources, they do a lot of reading, and they prepare a project and then enter it in a series of competitions. And Marin and Luke both advanced all the way to the National History Day competition. We went there in June, and both received very high honors at that contest for their projects.
And before we talk with them and get some up-close and personal observations from them, how long has this program been going on?
It's been operating in Utah since 1981. For a long, long time, it was called Utah History Fair, and a lot of people still recognize it by that name.
Right.
But we are part of the National History Day program, which operates nationwide.
When you go back to Washington, where do these kids stay and what opportunities are available for them?
The competition is held on the campus of the University of Maryland in College Park, which is just inside the Beltway. And during the time that they are not competing, they tour, they visit historic sites all over Washington, D.C. We were so privileged to have Senator Hatch's office gave tours to our entire group of about 120 people while we were there. And it's just a memorable experience, and it allows kids who are already fairly interested in history to see and touch some of the the core sites of American history.
Wendy, is it always 2 kids that get to go back each year?
We actually take about 60 kids each year.
Wow.
Because of the way the divisions, the age divisions and the competition categories are organized, we can take 2 entries in each of the categories. So we had about 60 kids that went on the trip, and chaperones and families and little brothers, and we had quite a group.
Well, it's about time we introduce our KSL listeners this morning to these 2 great kids. And Marin, maybe we could start with you first. Welcome to the program. It's good to have you here.
Hi.
Now, maybe you could tell us, what school do you go to, and what are you studying?
Timberline Middle School is where I attend.
And what are your favorite subjects? I'm curious.
I like history and art the best.
History makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us where Timberline is.
It's in Alpine.
In Alpine. Now, did you ever dream that you'd have an opportunity like this to enter something of this magnitude and end up back in Washington?
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to talk more about the specifics of the opportunity you 2 have had, but I want our listeners to get to know Luke Hansen also. Luke, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, good to be here.
Okay, Luke, what school are you from?
I go to Carbon High.
Carbon High School.
High School, yeah.
So this down in Price?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, tell us how you got so involved in history.
Well, my teacher really encouraged it. But more than that, I had a really specific topic that I wanted to learn about. And So I had a lot of fun with that topic as well.
Well, what was the topic? You've got me hanging here.
The topic was my great-great-grandfather, actually, who was a microbiologist in Utah. He was a professor at what is now Utah State University, and he did some cool things.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you want to follow in his footsteps then?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be really fun.
Oh, this is great to get to know you guys a little bit better. I want to talk about the actual experience. And for you, Marin, as you look back on this experience, how long were you guys actually hanging out in Washington, D.C.?
For about a week.
About a week. That gives you a lot of time to see things. Did you have a favorite? Wendy mentioned that when you weren't actually involved in the history event that you went back there for, you had other opportunities. What did you enjoy most?
I like going to the Smithsonian's, especially the American history one.
I'm glad you put an S on Smithsonian's. I used to have this impression it was one big museum. And good heavens, you could spend all week just going through the various museums. It is really incredible. So your favorite again was?
The American history.
What did you like most about that?
There were some things there that were related to my topic. There were some things from the Lewis and Clark expedition. So the actual compass that they took and the peace medals that they gave the Native American tribes, I got to see some of those there.
So you focused on Lewis and Clark?
Yeah.
How cool is that? Have you ever read Undaunted Courage?
Yes.
Isn't that a wonderful book?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So what intrigued you most about Lewis and Clark? That was such a significant event in our nation's history.
I like learning about their legacy and how it still impacts us today. It happened over 200 years ago. And the leadership skills that the captains had, they were very different men. Like Lewis would rather be off roaming the woods with his dog, discovering new animals and plants, and Clark was better with the men, and he's the better waterman. But they made it work together.
So did you get to know Sacagawea too?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's very awesome.
She is very awesome, isn't she? When we come back, we're going to talk more about the experience these great students have had. Marin Burgess and also Luke Hansen will find out more about the program. I'm very, very interested to find out. For those who would like to have their students participate in the future, we'll talk more with Wendy about that as Everyday Lives, Everyday Values continues here at KSL.
There every day.
We're back on Everyday Lives, Everyday Values, and I appreciate Wendy Rex Atzett joining us on the program, and also Marin Burgess and Luke Hansen here with us. I love history, so it's a real pleasure to have you here. And Wendy, let's talk for just a moment, and I want more specifics from each of these kids, not only about their project, but about the history and the experience in Washington, D.C. as well. But how do you narrow it down when so many kids are participating and so many kids have put their hearts and their souls into this?
That is a great question, Doug, because it's not very easy to narrow it down. You know, by the time we get to the state contest, which happens usually in April, we have very good projects coming from all over the state, and our judges have a really hard job because they have to not only make sure that every student that's there gets quality feedback and has an excellent opportunity to present their work and show what they know, but they also have to choose winners. And it's not easy because we have good students here.
I want to find out more about your project. We talked for just a moment with Marin Burgess about the Lewis and Clark explorations and her love of it. But, Luke, I want to get back to your
great-great-grandfather.
Great-great-grandfather at Utah State microbiologist. What was it specifically that sparked you to want to follow not only in his path, but to kind of look back and create the history surrounding him?
Well, in my family, we always heard stories about, Joseph Greaves and what he did. So one of the things I really wanted to do was to compile all the stories and all the information that was out there about Joseph Greaves, so we could have it and keep it, and so other people could learn about him and what he did.
What do you hope that most people, after they see what you have done, take away on your great-great-grandfather?
I hope that they realize some of the things that he did and some of the what he did for the history of Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For both of you, I'm curious how the presentation actually happens. And when you are being judged, how does that unfold? And Marin, I'll start with you. What is that like?
So I decided to do the exhibit category. So I set up my exhibit, and they go around, they look at all of them, and then they have a personal interview for about 10 to 15 minutes, and they ask you questions to make sure you understand your topic and how it relates to the theme that they have, and then they decide based on that.
Describe your exhibit for us.
So it's about 6 feet tall, 2 boards taped together, and I had pictures, I had words and quotes, and different visual things on it to explain how the Lewis and Clark expedition related to leadership and legacy, which was the theme.
Fascinating. It really is. I wish I could see it. And for you, how was your project judged, Luke?
So they gave you a time that you had to be there, and you show up and they take you into like this little classroom, and there's about one or I think there's 3 judges there. And they have a smartboard and a projection so they can project your project up on the smartboard. I did a website, so they projected it up on the smartboard and asked me a few questions about it, or a lot of questions about it.
So you had a website, you had an exhibit. What are the other categories, Wendy? What else is available?
Students can also choose to do documentary film, and these come out looking just like something that you would see on the History Channel or PBS. They're very professional. They can choose to write a traditional research paper, or they can do a historical performance where they bring the past to life through characters, and they write their own script based on primary sources and the historical record.
What an amazing opportunity, and they can choose from those. As far as 20 years from now, when you're maybe telling your kids, maybe telling a friend, maybe your teachers, yourself, and you're telling students about this experience, what do you think the first thing you're going to say to that individual or that group? What are you going to tell them about this, Marin?
I think it was a great opportunity to get to share knowledge, because I've loved learning about Lewis and Clark for several years now, and so I think it was a great opportunity, and I was able to go to Washington, D.C. because of it and learn more by doing the project.
How about you, Luke? What are you going to be telling people 20 years from now about this experience?
Probably just the memories I made and the things I had the opportunity to see in Washington, D.C.
Who did you meet back in Washington? Obviously, you met judges. You were back there with a lot of other kids and people. But is there one particular person or acquaintance that you made back there that you especially remember, Marin?
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a chance to meet Senator Hatch?
We met Senator Mike Lee.
Oh, you met Senator Lee?
And
Great.
He spoke to us, and we got a picture with him in front of the Capitol.
Great. How about for you, Luke?
I got to know the other people that were from Utah a lot better. Yeah.
As you looked at some of your competitors, did some of them make you a little nervous at some time, when your work is being compared right up against theirs? Was there something that really impressed you, somebody else that was working on an exhibit, Marin?
Yeah, some other people had really cool designs on theirs, and they did some creative things instead of a board. Some of them did rotating exhibits.
How about you for your website, Luke?
I was able to look at the winners from last year. They post the winners' websites on the NHD blog, and I was pretty amazed at some of the things they did.
Well, I appreciate both of you sharing this experience with me, and I've never had this opportunity. I've been back to Washington, D.C., but to go back there as a presenter or an exhibitor and to be able to walk away with so many great experiences and accolades, congratulations to both of you. And Wendy, maybe I could get you to tell us a little bit. How did these kids fare back there?
They did great. Marin received a special award from the Lewis and Clark Trail Heritage Foundation. I have to say that as I went down to snap a picture of her receiving her prize, the gentleman representing the foundation made a point of saying that she had done outstanding, amazing research. And this is a student that's in middle school.
Yeah. Outstanding and amazing. That's not bad. Not often have I heard that about anything I've done, so that's great.
Something to be proud of.
What about Luke?
Luke placed in the finals, and I believe you're going to have to remind me, 13th?
Yeah.
13th place in the nation.
In the entire country.
For a junior individual website project.
To both of you, congratulations. We're proud of you. And Wendy, in the final moments that we have, for those who want their children involved and want them to at least have a shot at an experience like this, tell us how the organization works and how people do get involved.
Well, you can contact us very easily. Our program is housed at the Division of State History here in Salt Lake City. You can contact us by email. You can find us on the web at utahhistoryfair.weebly.com.
Give us that one more. And how do you spell Weebly?
Weebly.
Got it.
So this is our old Utah History Fair website, but we wanted to keep it alive because that's how we've been known for so long. So search Utah History Fair or Utah History Day and contact us. We have programs all throughout the state, and we can feed you into a local contest in your area. And it's just a wonderful tool for teachers, and it really provides students with an outstanding experience, truly.
Oh, this is a life experience. It truly is. Maren, congratulations. Luke, congratulations. And thank you so much for being part of the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you.